live in a wonderful evening with wonderful Puppeteer. Welcome for another episode of the Puppet Podcast. Hi everyone, I'm so happy to meet you again. I get this interview this afternoon, so now in the evening we have another talk with Puppeteer. So I'm so happy to connect with many people. And I want, before we go into the interview, have everyone know that we have this Patreon also that we do as the podcast, and we do wonderful workshop. So I would just bring that in the screen. Boom! We have done this workshop, and you can have access, if you are a Patreon member, to all the replay of those past workshops. You are not in the live, but you will have access to this. And this was really interesting with Aaron from Pro Puppet Maker. It was the last one we have done in the beginning of October. And it was about character and how to build a character. So yeah, we have like plenty of good things with wonderful puppeteer who are like well-known in the industry, and also some people that we just love and we want to give them the room to share their knowledge. So it's really a community that we build with this Puppet Podcast, and we want to connect internationally with many people. So yeah, have a look. It's in the description, and feel free to share the interview you enjoy, and feel free also to write questions if you have some questions during the interview you want to ask, or you want to just say hi and say where you are watching right now. It's always so interesting to see that we are connecting as a passionate community of puppetry. We are connected internationally. So let's go to the interview. So I have someone who I said have really a wonderful brand. I was discussing with him before, and I think everyone will enjoy to discover this talented storyteller. So please welcome, ladies and gentlemen, in the screen, Mr. Dalrymple MacAlpin.
Hello, thank you for having me. Glad to be here.
Yeah, I'm so happy to have you with your wonderful also background of friend right there.
Yeah, it's funny that you should use the word friends, because when I'm carving puppets, I realize that I'm carving friends that I would like to have. You know, all their different personalities and things they offer. I say, well, these are my friends. These are people I would be friends with in life, you know, and they are indeed friends.
Yes, that's so cool to have. Also, you are a builder, you are a storyteller. I want you to introduce yourself for the community, maybe who don't know you, who people who haven't checked, like me, your website with all of those funny aspects of your career. So yeah, please introduce yourself, Dalrymple.
Hello, everybody. My name is Dalrymple MacAlpin. I am primarily a composer. My first love of the arts was music, and I approach puppetry through the medium of music. And what I'm doing with puppetry now is highly inspired by opera and the connection between opera and marionettes, creating a marionette opera. But in addition to that, I do storytelling. I write poetry, I write plays, and have staged 2 plays, one based on Irish mythology. My greatest literary love is Irish folklore, mythology, myths. It's my obsession, really, Ireland. If you can see some of these books in the bookshelf in the back, it's primarily all books about Ireland. So that is where my soul was born. My body was born in Michigan, but my soul was born in Ireland. And so the first play was based on Irish myths. The second play was based on the sisters Wilde, who lived next door to the brothers Grimm. And actually, one of these sisters married Wilhelm Grimm, Dorchen Wilde. And this puppeteer, this beautiful crone, her name is Dorchen Wilde, in honor of the woman who told the Brothers Grimm the story of Rumpelstiltskin and the Singing Bone and Cinderella, amongst many other tales. So I wanted to write a play about these 6 sisters and dedicated it to them, in fact. Well, that's sort of a long introduction, I suppose.
No, but it's great. It's great to have, like, it's set the tone of the interview. You just bring yourself to the people. And I just want to let you know that we have someone watching us from Colombia. That's
Colombia.
cool, eh?
Hello.
Yeah. So are you ready, Dalrymple, for the deep question of the Puppet Podcast?
Oh, the deep questions. I'm a little nervous, you see. But I know we have to get to the meat of the matter, the bones. Yes, the marrow.
Yes.
So you ask away, and we'll just see what comes out of my mouth. And I don't know, hopefully it'll be the right thing. It'll be something.
Yes, totally. So the first question is, why? Like, what makes the art of puppetry an art that you cherish?
First of all, I love the question. That's just a great first question. Why do you cherish the art of puppetry? Why?
Why?
Why are you so into puppets? You're a grown-up. That's for kids. Is there something wrong with you? No, nothing at all wrong with us puppeteers. We just never stopped playing with our dolls and our toys. We had so much fun doing that when we were kids, we just couldn't put it down. But for me, puppetry is synonymous with magic. Magic tricks, card tricks, but real magic. And I cherish magic. And so, of course, I would cherish puppetry, because puppetry is magic. It is a magical art form that is capable of transcending ages and all sorts of boundaries and upbringings, and it just transcends. Puppetry is magic, and I cherish magic. Also, the connection with the audience, with the puppet, is so, the audience just loses themselves. More so than, I communicate to an audience as a storyteller, as a musician, during plays, acting, and they're connecting with a human being, right? They see, okay, this is some guy up there doing his crazy thing. But then when I go away and you see some little puppet take the stage, and this becomes the point of connection, and there's a poetry of the motion, the rhythm, that just is very beautiful, and you can get so intricate and subtle with it, not just this blam blam blam, you can do this crazy like hand puppet shows, the Punch and Judy stuff, that kind of stuff is great, but you can also go very slow and hypnotize. And that's really beautiful. And kids, of course, are closer to that world than grown-ups are. Yeah. And so kids, just exposing kids to all kinds of marionettes in my local community here, for instance, who never would have been exposed to fully intricate carved puppets, and they come into my studio, and I have hundreds of puppets from all over the world, quite a collection, and you get these kids and they just want to know everything. Well, what kind is that? What does that do? What's her name? What puppet is your favorite puppet? And can I, and just seeing faces, that is a thing to cherish.
Yes, totally. I totally agree. And that's so true that kids have this curiosity that we never lose. I think as puppeteer, we still in deep interest about movement and all of this stuff. So I want to know about your crush. I always ask how and when your crush for puppetry happened.
My crush for puppetry, that is a long tale. So get comfortable and have a warm cup of tea, I hope. And here we go. It was a long, long time ago it was. In the 1980s. Ooh. Well, of course, I grew up with Jim Henson. Everyone is referring to Jim Henson. He's the godfather for growing up in America. The Fraggle Rock, the Muppets, Sesame Street, Dark Crystal, Labyrinth, seeing all that stuff. But I saw it before I even really knew the word puppet. I didn't really know that those were puppets. I just saw these characters and loved them. It's like, what? And I was obsessed with Jim Henson and his beard. I loved his beard. And in fact, this fellow right here, you probably see with the beard. I think he came out a little Jim Henson-y. I think I put a little of Jim Henson's beard in there. That's Herbert Fiendwald, the miller of the Rumpelstiltskin opera, which I'm working on. But there was 3 moments in life where this crush I like how you say crush, that this happened. As a kid, I wasn't really into Legos and those kinds of things. I didn't have that. I had action figures though. And I was always playing with my action figures and doing voices for them and having these intricate, long, stories I would enact for hours, shut away in my room. My parents probably loved that. He's just happy in there playing with his action figures for hours. And so, but again, I didn't realize that was puppetry. But then as a teenager, I got introduced to this horror movie called Puppet Master. I don't know if anyone has mentioned this Puppet Master horror movie.
Yeah, you can write in the chat if you know this movie, people.
You know this movie. It's spawned into 10 movies, but the first one came out in the late 80s, and the first 3, I think the third one came out 93, but they're horror movies. They're kind of like B horror movies. And I have a soft spot for B horror movies, I gotta say. And I was a member of the company that produced Full Moon. I had the Full Moon t-shirt. I was just obsessed. I bought all the Puppet Master puppets, and the story was really fascinating because it was about this puppeteer in Nazi Germany who was carving these puppets after his friends would be shot down or killed. He would take in essence their soul and put it in a puppet, and they would be moving without strings. But the puppets were just amazing, and I thought, wow, these puppets have souls, and they're alive, and these are his friends. And that really made a huge influence on me, and I was thinking, I want to become a puppet carver and have a puppet trunk, and I want to tour with puppet shows all around the world. But then I got sidetracked by music. After that puppet crush number 2, recorded a bunch of records, and then I saw this film called O Fortuna. And it was a documentary about the German composer Karl Orff, who is my favorite composer of all time. And in this film, there is a scene of marionettes enacting one of Karl Orff's operas, Der Mond. And I was it hit me so hard, this footage of these marionettes singing this opera, and done so intricately. It was incredible. And I got in touch with the director of the film. I found out where he shot that scene, who this marionette troupe was. He told me it was in Germany. So I went to Germany, to Dusseldorf, to the Dusseldorf Marionetten Theater, met these people, met all the puppets, and got to go backstage and had this whole puppetry world open up to me, all over Germany, visiting different puppet theaters, and then studying puppet carving in Prague, at this school, Puppets in Prague, in Czech Republic. And that's where I carved my first marionette, Rumpelstiltskin. He's just hanging back here right now, but he is alive. He does, I think, when puppeteers are talking about inanimate objects coming to life in their hands in this art, but to me, puppets are always animate. They are always alive. And any puppeteer, I think, will tell you, the more you work with a puppet, a certain puppet, the more soul that puppet has, the more of a spirit he has. And after 20, 30, 40 years, you pick up that puppet, you don't even have to think about it. Out comes the voice, and out comes all the little movements, and he's just doing his thing. And it's just second nature. And it's because you put a part of your soul in there. And I have to tell you a story. Can I do that?
Yeah, for sure.
So Rumpelstiltskin was the first puppet I carved. I made him in Prague, but then I came home and I had to I made new hands for him. I wanted bigger hands. I did this. And then I put on his eyebrows, that hair you see back there coming, his eyebrows. And that was the last thing. And I was home alone that night. And I put the eyebrows on and I looked at him. And he became alive in that moment. And I was actually kind of scared. I had a fear run through me that he was going to be walking around the house at night and coming into my room. And I didn't know what he was going to do. And so I shut my bedroom door that night, which I would normally leave open. And you'd hear about these old stories of puppet carvers, and they're putting a part of their soul into their puppets.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, then I must be afraid of my own soul. But I think I got sidetracked on your question.
That was about the crush, but it's kind of funny to drift to soul puppetry and bring the soul into it. I think I get your passion into the carving of puppets, so it's really, really cool. And it's bring me the next one about the path, like how, in your opinion, what would be the best field of study to become a puppeteer? In your opinion?
I think that's a really interesting question. The best field of study, I would say, would be the study of being a human being, or as the BFG would say, a human being. I don't know if you've read that, the human being, because, you can't be a puppeteer unless you have a soul, right?
Yeah.
So I'm bringing it back to the soul, being in touch, having a spiritual connection, whatever that means to you, having some sort of spirituality in your background, whether that be you practice meditation or just some sort of daily ritual that you observe. But I think I for myself, the spirituality that is imbued with the puppetry arts, it helps me a lot, and it teaches me a lot of things. So, but of course, you get the responses, of being a carpenter if you want to go into carving puppets, woodworker. I was a woodworker years ago, making tables and different sorts of chairs and, in this furniture shop. That probably helped. And being a storyteller, being an actor is huge, because even though the audience, well, it depends on what kind of puppeteering you're doing, but from what I do, typically the audience doesn't see me, but you're still acting back there. You are definitely, you have to be in full character. And sometimes it is the puppet who is manipulating you. And that happened at one of the first puppet shows I did. There I was just doing my thing, pulling the strings, right?
Yeah.
And then this voice came out of me, but it wasn't me. It was him down there talking, and I didn't even really know what I was doing. I felt like that his soul went into me and mine went into him, and there was this circular energy going on between me and Rumpelstiltskin. It was really powerful.
Yeah. So you would say maybe a bit of like human being connection, like be spiritual a bit, is a tool for a puppeteer.
Yeah, I think that helps a lot. When you're bringing something to life, you're in fact like a necromancer, bringing something dead to life. Like a puppet is both dead and alive at the same time. And having a background in a magical practice, I think lends itself very well to the arts of puppetry.
Yes, totally. And it's bring me for your definition. The next question is, do you have your own definition when someone asks you, like, what is a puppet? How you answer this?
What is a puppet?
Yeah. Kids sometime or family, what you do this like puppet thing. How you answer to that?
Yeah, well, I think a puppet, there's lots of definitions, of course, but I think a puppet is anything and everything. The whole world is a puppet. The whole universe is a puppet. A puppet is infinite. It is the figure 8. It is the snake eating its own tail. It goes on forever. Puppetry and puppets exist upon the borderland between what is sacred and what is profane, right? So I would say a puppet is a divine trickster. Yeah.
I love that.
The divinity and trickery, a divine trickster, is a puppet in a way.
Yes. And about you, I want to know your big purpose as a puppeteer. Like, do you have something you see in the future? You say, I want to create this or solve this play that I want to put together. Like, do you have your big vision of the future for your career?
Well, I think my purpose as a puppeteer, and that's another great question. You have some really good ones, I gotta say. And I would answer that, and I would say that's not hard to answer. My purpose is to inspire. I think that's what it boils down to. If you distill it into one word, inspiration. I want to inspire people, to shake them up, to stir the cauldron of their belly and get all the ingredients that were maybe stagnant and floating, at the bottom. I want them to rise up and to make the spark in the eye grow brighter. That is, I think, the greatest gift. And when I've done performances, I've been performing 20 years on the stage. And when people come up to me afterwards and say they left the show and they were so inspired, they want to go home now and play music or research these stories or study puppetry or ask me if I will teach them, but I can see that fire in the head, as it's called in Irish mythology, the fire in the head. When I see that, I know that I'm on the right track. And this is why I do what I do. And for myself, what do I want to achieve in 10 years is to definitely debut this, at least 2 marionette operas. Okay. I've been working on Rumpelstiltskin. I'm carving the whole cast. It takes a while to do that because you can't just get actors, you have to carve them. But I definitely want to debut 2 marionette operas and possibly have created a puppeteer company around this that can tour all around the world with a whole wagon of amazing puppeteers and artists and lighting people and sound technicians and be turning people on wherever we go.
Wow. That's such a great purpose. And it's true that opera and puppet are like good combination. It's really interesting that you bring that. And I saw it's on YouTube. I cannot remember, but a giant puppet like singing opera. I think it was in England. This kind of research about giant puppet and it's so interesting because the puppet, it could be like really the good when it's big, like to resonate the big voice. I don't know. I really get this.
You have this big
Yeah.
giant basso profundo puppet on stage. Yeah, you can do amazing things with puppets in opera. And like I said, that Karl Orff Der Mond opera, the interesting thing was Karl Orff wrote this opera, and it had 3 worlds: an upper world, an underworld, and then this middle plane. And people said, well, how are you going to stage this? This is impossible. You need a budget. We cannot pull this off. And so he said, well, I'll do it with puppets then. So he did the whole opera with puppets. And to this day, this opera still gets done, at least in Dusseldorf, at the Dusseldorf Marionette Theater. And it's incredible what they're doing over there. It's really amazing.
Yes, totally. And I want to also ask you, where do you see puppetry like in the future? Our art, as you observe in your part of the world, has evaluate. What do you see? What's coming next?
Whew. That's a really deep question. Yeah.
Yeah.
That gets into like fortune telling.
Yeah, but do you feel we are in an ascension? It's getting more popular?
Yes. Yes. Definitely. You ask someone that question who maybe lives in the hinterland somewhere out there who's never heard of puppets, and of course they would say, no, what, puppets? That's not popular. What are you talking about? You're crazy. You know? But I've heard of this new thing that's called the Puppet Podcast now. And that bespeaks of a popularity and an ascension of puppetry. You are making it happen over there.
I work on it.
You're doing great work in making puppeteers and the art of puppetry become more known. So good on you and the Puppet Podcast team back there. I think it's definitely becoming popular. The new Dark Crystal has all practical puppetry effects in it. I think people are really tired of CGI. I don't know anyone. I've never talked to one person who has said they like CGI effects. I just don't know those kinds of people. Everyone I know likes practical puppet effects when they see stuff in movies, something that actually is tangible and has texture and you can touch it and it comes across through the screen that this is a real thing that the actors are relating to. Yeah. And the new Dark Crystal being employed with all puppetry effects, they started a new thing called, I think it's called PGI, where it's like using CGI in the backgrounds, because creating all the background effects, all the landscape, having that be textural, real sets is very laborious. And so they're like, okay, well, maybe we could have a marriage between these worlds and have some CGI in the background that's just artfully done, but all the main characters that we see are real puppets. And I think if it has to be that way, of course, I would prefer all real. But if this evolution has to come to this point, I'm glad that the puppet arts are at the foreground, not in the background. Yeah.
Because it's so communicative. It's such a, as you say, it's get through. Totally.
Yeah, you can feel it. Yoda, the original Yoda from the original Star Wars trilogy, as a kid, Yoda was always my favorite character. And I didn't realize that was a puppet, and that was Frank Oz doing that, you know, who's one of the most amazing puppeteers in the world. I wasn't aware of that, but I could see that Yoda was a real being training Luke Skywalker there on Dagobah. And it translated through the screen, and everything that Yoda said, I took to heart. And to this day, I have a Yoda puppet. Well, you can't see it here, but he's a Yoda puppet back there in a place of honor.
Yeah. That's so cool. And I want to see those character as those one behind you. I think you have a lot of friends to show to the screen.
There's a few friends back there, yeah. Let's see. What is this?
You are in a podcast. We are live online.
Live? Online? That's my favorite. And who are you?
I'm Caroline Bernier-Dionne, a French Canadian who started this adventure of podcasting with puppetry.
Caroline, nice to meet you.
And you, who are you? Are you part of a show?
Everyone wants to know my name. Yes. I'll tell you because I like you. My name is Rumpelstiltskin. Yes, I am part of many shows, indeed. I've been waiting. Do you know how long I've been waiting?
No, I don't know. Maybe a long time.
Hundreds of years. For my own opera. To tell my story. Not the one you know. My background story. Where do I come from? How did I get the power to spin straw into gold? These questions are good questions, and we will tell you in 2023.
You will be all set for the big show, isn't it?
That's how much longer. Dalrymple told me I had to wait. He has to carve and write all the music. And so, meanwhile, I decided I would start a weekly riddle show where every week I give the audience a riddle, and if you get it, I say, congratulations, Caroline, for solving last week's riddle. Smarty pants.
Yeah, and you do that online or in live?
Oh, I do it online, on YouTube, and Instagram, Facebook. You can find riddles even on Dalrymple's website.
Yeah, so everyone must tune in and be part of this too.
Well, if you like riddles, do you?
Yes.
Would you like to hear one now?
Oh, yes, please.
Put on your thinking cap, okay?
Yeah, I have the thinking glasses right here.
Very good.
Makes me more intelligent.
I washed my face in water that neither poured nor run, and dried it on a towel that neither was woven nor spun. Do you know?
No. Hey, what happened if you don't know? You give your
Your firstborn child to me. Please let me know when he or she comes.
Yeah. That's such a great thing. You're such an amazing character right there. You have such a personality.
Oh, you're so kind.
I need to put the other thinking cap to think more.
I like that second one.
Yay! Thank you so much, little. And I can't wait to see the full opera. We will stay tuned in to see in 2023. It's a long time to wait for the audience.
Some things are worth waiting for, right?
Yes.
I'll make sure you have a ticket to the front row.
Yay! Yes. I will be a great clapper and laugher all the time. I'm good audience too.
I knew it. So nice to meet you.
Yes. So keep doing the good work. Keep up doing the good work, and rehearsal all of this thing. And we have Common Williams say great puppet, and Carlos who tuned in also. So you make some motion on the chat. That's great.
That makes me so happy. Woo-hoo!
So cool. So yeah, maybe we can have your puppeteer back for the conclusion.
Dalrymple, you don't want to talk to me anymore? Okay.
Yeah. We have William who asked a question. Maybe you can answer. It's, are you made of wood?
Wood, yes, I am made of wood. Wood is alive, you know.
Yes, I think that's why your skin is so communicative. We really feel your character.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's so interesting. And yes, wood is good for a puppet. That's so cool. Dalrymple, thank you. We can really see the talent and also the storytelling, and you keep a crowd maybe scotch to your words on a show.
Well, it's not really my words. It's his words. He just kind of goes off, and I'm just sort of in a daydream there. I'm not really sure. I went to the bathroom while he was here talking to you, so I hope he didn't say anything too offensive.
No, he was smart. It's me. I'm not that smart at him. I'm just like, oh.
Well, shall I tell you the answer to the riddle?
Yeah.
I did overhear it. Okay. So water that neither pours nor runs is the morning dew. And the sun is what is the towel that is neither woven nor spun. So I washed my face in water that neither pour nor run, the morning dew, and I dried it on a towel that was neither woven nor spun, the sun.
Oh, so cool. It's such like poetry at the same time that we get into thinking, and that's so cool.
It's really fun. I've always loved riddles. And when Rumpel told me that he was really into riddles, I said, well, we should be friends because we have a lot to talk about. You know, do you know this one? And for hours we were back and forth, you know. So I have a little book of all his and all of mine. And so this is where we pull from every Wednesday when we do Rumpel's riddles.
Yeah. So if people want to see more of you, and people congratulate you, we have Bray who say great congratulations about how you said. So where we can see those those things. Yeah, and William get the riddle too. He put the answer right there. So where we could see more of your stuff?
Well, my website is a great place, of course. Just dalrymplemacalpin.com. Of course, you have to be a really good speller to be able to spell my name. But
Yeah,
I think you can do it.
you can write. He's right there, so you can print screen this
right there. Or Instagram is a great place. I put the riddles out on Instagram, but I think I'm going to just start only doing them on YouTube. And I'm creating another puppetry show called The Poetry of Potions with Dortch and Wild back here, where she's going to be in her room with all her potion bottles, because she's sort of a witch, an alchemist, a study. She has a book growing out of her own head. I don't know if you can see this, but all this knowledge coming out of her own head. And so she reads her book with her eyeball wand. And so she'll be doing the poetry of potions every week. And that'll probably be starting around Halloween, just in time for Halloween.
Oh, great. So everyone stay tuned in to see that Halloween things with this wonderful character. I think we will discover with you.
And I just want to make mention of one thing before, I don't know if you're about to wrap it up perhaps. The one thing that really helped me get into puppetry, I guess this is sort of my plug for my friends over in Prague, in Czech Republic. If you out there are watching this and you want to get involved in puppetry and carve your own wooden marionette, perchance, it's a great thing to do. I highly recommend it. There is a school in Prague, Puppets in Prague. Just look that up alone, Puppets in Prague, and you will find them. And Leah and Mirek are the teachers there, husband and wife. And they are just amazing in sharing their knowledge of puppetry and traditional Czech puppet carving. They are amazing people, and they're even doing puppetry courses through Zoom now. You can learn how to carve a wooden puppet through the computer during COVID. And you can. I took the course in 2016, and I took it again this year because it was just online. And I thought, well, I'm at home just, doing stuff. I'll take that course again. I'm sure there's more things I can learn,
Yeah.
And here I was over the computer showing Mirek, a puppet I was working on. I want to give him eyelids. How do you carve eyelids? And on this puppet here, he was telling me how to carve eyelids, and I was learning how to carve eyelids through the computer. Amazing people.
Yeah, that's such a good plug to have like wood carving and to have connection for all around. Like it's great. So maybe we can put their address or their website below the interview if you have the chance after. Just copy paste, and we will have maybe other people who are interested in that and have this course.
Yeah, and of course, I saw you interviewed Bernd a few weeks ago. I'm studying with him right now in his puppetry masterclass.
Oh yeah,
carving a marionette in his course, and he is amazing too. He is just an amazing teacher. He has this philosophical approach with puppetry, which is really refreshing and just an awesome soul. I want to meet him in person one day.
Yes, I think he's a wonderful human being, and I get a blast on his interview too. I was a bit like also nervous because it's such a master.
Yeah, he's a master.
Yes, totally. Thank you so much, Dalrymple, for your time and your good vibe, and you just send it to the world, and it's really cool.
Thank you so much for having me on the Puppet Podcast and for doing this.
Yay. I will keep doing it and have wonderful puppeteer like you. So I will just push you out of the screen, but stay in the virtual studio. We chat after.
Okay.
That's my new thing, to push the guest. So everyone, thank you so much for watching. And we have a blast to talk about puppetry, about this passion that we share all over the world. And yeah, if you are curious about those workshops, those online, we have kind of a good network all around the Puppet Podcast. So I will just bring into the screen another time the Patreon, this puppet building workshop that we do. We want to do once a month, a puppet building workshop, and once a month more one about like online streaming, how to keep doing our job in this pandemic, whatever, some subject really on the page. So have a look on that. It's in the description just below the interview. And yes, we will have plenty of other episodes. So next week we go to England, and yeah, we have other connection coming. Some women also. We will put women puppeteers in the front. So let's stay in touch. Let's keep growing this wonderful community, and enjoy the passion of puppetry. So see you soon, everyone. And I will put my jingle because sometimes I forget to put the wonderful jingle that we create. So everyone, good evening, good night.